speaks this week, so get your questions in today.
Nobody's coming back on Thursday this week, huh?
We will come back if you give us some access.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Awesome. We'll open it up.
I got nothing.
For sure.
I got nothing to do. They're not going to open it up.
All right, Coach will make an opening
Me or
statement,
Bill?
and then we'll go into questions.
Shoot. It's a normal week for us. Hey, since I won't be seeing you, I guess, at the end of the week, wishing all of you a happy Thanksgiving, but everybody in Vol Nation and all of our players, families, everybody, wish you all a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Looking forward to this last home game here with our players, in particular our seniors, and opportunity to go compete and finish the regular season the right way. Look forward to having a great home field advantage. Last week I thought just our fan base was phenomenal. Ball walk was packed, and then the energy inside of the stadium was great early in the football game, and our student body was a huge part of that too. I know this week is tough with it being Thanksgiving, but look forward to seeing all those men and women back in the stadium on Saturday afternoon, and huge game for us. It's the finish of the regular season. It's an in-state opponent, and one that our players and staff will be ready to go for. So with that, I'll open it up.
Questions, we will get a mic to you. We'll start with Austin.
Coach, you were once a player. What was senior day like for you? And will you talk to those guys this week about the emotions and controlling the emotions of playing your final game, that type of thing?
Yeah, for sure. It is one that you remember parts of it. The 4 or 5 years go really quick. When you're a freshman, it seems like it's a long ways away. By the time you get to the end of it, it goes really quickly. Really appreciative of all that our guys have done here, in particular since I've gotten here. Just they've been a huge part of laying the foundation to our program and been instrumental in the acceleration of our growth as a program too. I think the emotion. You get done with warm-ups, you get a chance to see your family. That part's different, unique. And because of that, I think you truly try to soak some things in that maybe you haven't as much during the course of your career. But then when you go back in that locker room before you run out, then it becomes ball, and for our guys, separating the two will be important, and preparing the right way and then executing once the game's kicked off. But again, it is something that you certainly will remember.
West and Vince.
Josh, after you got here, I know it's always hard to tell exactly what you've got until you can go play other teams, but was there a point any time this spring or this summer or camp when you really kind of looked at the team on film and looked at your staff and said, I think we have enough to be a pretty competitive team here? Because a lot of people didn't necessarily expect that to be the case.
Yeah, for sure. I think outside expectations, outside noise is something that myself and our staff have tried to not pay attention to, and I think our players have bought into that as well. And from the moment that I got here, I never placed a ceiling on what our football team could do. You've heard me say it, that we are in a race against ourselves. I'm so proud of the growth from the first day that I got here to who we are now. Certainly want some things to be better at the same time too as a coach, but the growth of individuals and collectively as a team really special, and I think we've laid a great foundation to what we're going to be in the future.
Josh, you've talked about Cedric Tillman, and obviously he continues to produce for you. His numbers the last 5 games, if you were to put him out into a full season, set records at UT. What's still out there for Cedric Tillman still to be able to accomplish as a player? Yeah,
he's still growing as a player. Extremely confident, great understanding of what we're doing, but is going to continue to get better just fundamentally, you've seen him make a bunch of competitive plays here down the stretch. That's just scratching the surface of his ability to make plays. He's going to continue to get better. He's going to be an extremely dynamic player.
Coach, Chloe Levering, WUTK. Is there anything, I know you mentioned senior night, of course, this Saturday is going to be the last regular season game on Rocky Top. Is there anything besides just making sure all those guys have a great senior night, anything that you are setting out to prove this Saturday against Vandy?
Yeah, it's for us that we're going to finish as a program. You're going to be talking a little bit about that last week, but this is the end of the regular season that we're going to finish it. That our preparation is going to be consistent, but continue to get better. You're constantly improving things to yourself, and to me, that's what we're trying to do this Saturday.
You talked the other night about your style being aggressive on every side of the ball, every phase of the game. If you had coached your entire career on defense, would you be an aggressive, blitzing type style of defense?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what my dad was. That's what I would be too.
And since your identity has been so tied to offense, sometimes head coaches with an identity on one side of the ball have a hard time knowing how much influence to put on the other side of the ball. How did you figure that out about how much to stick your nose on the defensive side and how much to pull back?
I think it's, my experience being around the game with my dad and being on the defense side of the ball. I think it's really important that you hire great people and then, set the parameters of what you foresee of, the style of play that you want to have. And then you got to let guys do that, and got a tremendous staff. On the offensive side of the ball too, starting with Coach Golish and our assistant coaches, but defensively, Coach Banks and his ability to lead, his ability to teach and mentor, and that's shared by his assistant coaches on that side of the football, and then Coach Eckler, true to who he is, just personality-wise, and having known him a long time, you hire people that fit your vision in the building, outside of the building. And then you gotta let them grow.
Eric, then Patrick. For Patrick, go ahead.
Coach, it's senior day. You got a couple of seniors on the defensive line that have only played in 4 games, and Latrell Bumpus and Aubrey Solomon haven't played in a few weeks. Is that a red shirt situation for those guys?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. It's just kind of a follow-up. Kayron Calvert got back in the game late the other night. Just what does it say about him for all the injuries he's gone through in his career to work his way back from
young guy
early?
That's been banged up a bunch during the course of his career. Obviously, this season was cut short early. Fought and got himself in a position to get back on the field. It was awesome to see him get an opportunity to play, and a lot of our guys on our roster. Those are unique times that those people remember too.
Eric.
Looking ahead to Vanderbilt, watching the tape here early in the week, what jumps out to you about them both offensively and defensively?
Yeah, I think for us, on the offensive side of the ball, thick, strong, physical in their front seven. I think they continue to get better throughout the course of the season. Last week had an opportunity to turn it into a one-possession game late in the football game. Weren't able to convert inside the red zone. Offensively, the ability of the quarterback to run the football is a big part of their game, and something that we got to do a good job against this week.
Brent?
Coach, what will you appreciate about this senior class the most?
Facing adversity and running right into it, and never losing face, and just continuing to compete and grow. And I think all the uncertainty of last offseason, December, January, to a new coaching staff arriving, them buying into it, a lot of them being great leaders inside of our program, been instrumental in how we've grown. So to me, when I think about this group, it's their ability to face adversity and step right through the fire.
Austin and Wes.
You talk about the buy-in. We had Cedric on the Nation last night and then Jabari on the locker room, and they both kind of talked about 2 different times that they thought the buy-in really happened. Cedric said the initial meeting when you sat in there with the team when you first got here, and then Jabari said the first padded practice because it was different. Just the feeling was different. They were having fun. How instrumental do you think the buy-in was from that core group of older guys to flip the script from all of the negativity that was around the place to what you currently have?
Yeah, I think a lot of coaches will tell you when they go into a new program, the older guys are the toughest guys to get to buy into it because they feel like they're on the back end of their careers. And to me, that hasn't been the case at all inside of our program. I think we've had great buy-in from everyone throughout the course of the process. I don't know when I felt like the buy-in continued to grow throughout the course of it. After our initial meeting, I think there was some energy from them that, man, maybe things are going to be different. But like all young kids, right, young players, I think your actions speak a lot louder than your words. And so the consistency of what we did in those first, 2-3 weeks was really important. But then you get on the field. First practice was different. The first padded practice was different. I think they understood our expectations, but then started to grow and feel comfortable and knew that they were going to have an opportunity to learn and grow inside of the game and do it in a really positive way. I think throughout the course of the summer, there was buy-in just in the way we were preparing them. It was different. They felt like they were getting stronger and going to be in great shape to go compete. Training camp was different, more buy-in, and then some success early in the season. I think, just continued to create an energy and a buy-in from them that, man, there's a 365-day out of the year plan to help them grow and be what they, have dreamed and want to be. They all have high goals, and I think they believe in the process that we've put before them.
Josh, I imagine that if offensively, it's hard to get production if your quarterback doesn't really gel with everybody else in terms of the receivers, the guys in front of him, and the backs. You came from a JUCO and, went to OU and had to go through that process. How has Hendon been able to kind of airdrop in and relatively quickly kind of get everybody on the same page there?
Well, I think for Hendon, it starts with just who he is. Everybody sees his work ethic and his ability to relate and communicate and lead the players around him. As he's played more, he's continued to grow in comfort and understanding. The little things have added up to the big things that equal success that everybody can see. The quarterback position is really important. It's hard to be successful when you don't have a guy playing at a high level. At the same time, it takes 10 other guys around him for him to maximize what he's able to do. And I think, our players have continued to grow. You guys have seen us incrementally get better throughout the course of the season. And, he's been a big part of that, but so have the other guys around him.
Kellyanne in the back.
Hey, Coach. I know it's game week, but on Thanksgiving, do you have any plans, and are there any traditions that you like to incorporate your players in surrounding the holiday?
Yeah, I'm going to have about 25 people in this week, so there will be a lot going on. My wife will take care of most of that. I'll have some nieces and nephews running around at practice. I think it's an awesome time. You want to be playing football this weekend. Get to blend two of my favorite things, family and football together. And, for our players, we'll have some fun on Thursday. I think it's unique that a lot of our players will have a chance to get home for a little bit and enjoy that experience. Try to have players over that aren't able to go home that will come over to our houses and have Thanksgiving at our place too.
Any other questions for Coach?
We're able to see Gus Moore get in the game late against South Alabama. Obviously familiar with him from UCF. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, a young man that walked on and has continued to grow in his understanding of what we're doing offensively and smart, competitive, and does a really good job inside of the room too. A young guy that doesn't always get all the reps that you want, but is diligent and continuing to grow and fundamentally has gotten better. Footwork and eye discipline's gotten a lot better too, and there's good exposure for him to get in the ball game the other night.
Coach, with Velus, he was a guy that you inherited. What were your impressions of him when you first maybe watched some film of what he had done, and how important has he been to sort of being the veteran guy?
Yeah, special teams saw some of the impact that he had as a returner. Felt like he was dynamic in that role. Thought he had a chance to continue to grow and fundamental understanding of how to play the wide receiver position at a really high level. Just where we were personnel-wise, started him outside. Felt like his natural home was probably inside, but that was just where we were at that time, and then being able to get him into the slot here, I think has allowed him to play his best football.
Anything else for Coach?